You must have noticed the fools that hang around day after day obsessed with my videos and trolling them. They spend all of their time lurking around me and stalking my social media, obsessively commenting on me and making the strangest videos about me. It seems to be their full-time job for some of these people.
Gee, Waggleton Pete Tallylicker, I wonder who this jive-ass Marxist piece of shit must be talking about. They sound like a real rough character. Now, full disclosure, I watch all of these videos that I respond to before I choose to put the camera on and act like an idiot for about 20 or 30 so minutes. That's so I can get a good lay of the land and get an idea of what it is that I'm in for. I'm going to spare you the headache of the 17-minute long running time of this video, which this piece of shit can construe as me not representing his argument correctly. I've had it with these types of people, because any argument posed in this is the same shit that I've heard for over a decade on this website. And this is for you, Pasty Space Jesus, because you might not have realized this. I've been on this website for well over a decade. You might get the impression that most of my videos have ever been on you, and that's kind of my fault, and I'll admit that. I have a vast back catalog that goes all the way back to like 2007, which I privated because I wasted far too much time on one particular subject over others. But make no mistake, in my travels on this site, I've seen many a person like you, which has led me to the conclusions that I've come to about what your presence on YouTube is all about. He goes on in this video to say, more or less, people like myself are secretly obsessed with him, and we actually like what it is that he does. But we can't admit that to ourselves, so we turn that all inward, and it comes out aggression. It's just a big projection. Not even. I'm not okay with somebody making a 25-minute long spiel, which was your last video, of some of the most leftist, social justice, Marxist commie propaganda I've ever heard in my fucking life, spewed forth to an audience of mostly late high schoolers or mid-teens who have no fucking reference for the insanity it is that you're talking about. I've read the Truth series of books. I've actually read a lot of the material that you put out in regards to this Hyperionism shit. It goes on to say, as the reason I bring this up, that people like myself don't study the material so we don't attack it from any point of reference. Well, I have a point of reference, and it makes no goddamn sense. It's not because I'm too dumb to interpret the material. There's no sense to be derived from it. This is just a cheap-ass piece of shit fucking scheme for you to make money by taking a whole bunch of bizarre and misrepresented and misinterpreted content as far as science and mathematics is concerned, to put it in front of a demographic of people who don't grasp how nonsensical it is. So they throw their money at you and feel like they're a part of something fucking special. You're an obscure, esoteric snake oil salesman, and you don't like when people point that out because it makes you look like shit. Case in point this, check out this little gem that's the very first comment on his video, written by Pasty Space Jesus himself. It reads, Facebook and Instagram are greatly cutting down exposure of controversial videos, and because of this my reach is well below 1% of what it was previously. In essence, they're trying to shut me down and any other influencers whose message they don't like. If you enjoy my work, please consider supporting it on Patreon. This is how I make my living, and I can only do it because of you. Wow, what a victim complex. Something guys like this possess unilaterally. Oh my God. Nobody is targeting you for some sort of nebulous hate campaign. Instagram and Facebook aren't targeting you so you get shut down by the man. Your metrics are going further into the toilet, and so are your analytics, because people don't want to sit around and listen to insane shit like we should throw blind faith into believing stupid shit you say is fact because the proof behind the shit you say is not in observable objective metrics. What the fuck? When you say science is a religion, it's retarded. When you sit there and yammer on and on and on about how religions are retarded, yet market this as you would a religion, it sounds retarded. And more people are waking up to the fact that there's nothing but bullshit that this philosophy of yours is supported upon. Didn't you ever stop to think for a second that maybe coming out to the world with this crap you pulled out of your ass in seconds was probably not a good idea because you weren't going to convince enough people to just buy it at face value? The people that buy it at face value have no reference as to hard sciences, physics, advanced maths and shit. They're just a bunch of goth kids who look up to you because you look like you could be in Marilyn Manson's band. They're seeking validation in some of the obscure things that they're into because those obscure esoteric things are rejected by society. And you know that. So you prey upon that individualistically. And that's really kind of stupid to think that people can't notice that when it's just so on its face. When they try to debate some of your commentators that are supporting you, and they can't, because these kids are like in middle school and have no fucking idea what you're talking about. He goes on also to say that people like me have no right to commentate because we don't study the source material and have no frame of reference as far as that's concerned. Well, guess what? A lot of your fucking writings are out on the internet for free because some people like to try to provide for those of us that don't feel like giving you money. I didn't put any of it out there, so don't point that fucking finger at me. But it is out there, and I partook in reading some of it. And it's just a bunch of intellectual fucking garbage about as fucking intellectually deep as a shot glass. All of it boils down to being nothing more than concepts about science, mathematics, and physics that were already laid forth by other people in the past. So when you make the claim as you do that people such as myself have nothing original to say, that's pretty fucking rich coming from somebody that doesn't actually have anything original about his philosophy whatsoever. A philosophy, system of thought, religion. I really don't know what to call it anymore because it kind of qualifies as all three, especially as a religion. Because you express dogmatic, blind faith in the idea this shit you spout is true, and offer no skepticism towards it whatsoever, which is fucking crazy coming from a guy who claims that he hates fucking religion. The main selling point of this video is he goes on to ask people like myself to prove that the universe is material, prove that mathematics aren't just all there are to this universe, prove that we're not living in a simulation. Well, the same can be said for you, shithead. You're asking me to prove unfalsifiable hypotheses. Why don't you do the same, since we're in the impossible game, then? This is not an argument. This is not a retort. This is just fucking I'm rubber and you're glue shit forever, which as an adult is fucking beneath you. If you're not even going to fucking pay attention to anything that anyone has ever said in any of the videos that they've made against you, and then put yourself out there as some fucking pussy-ass fucking victim, then expect to see a lot more negativity from people, because you're not making yourself look like you're being intentionally targeted by a bunch of trolls. You're actually validating their arguments and making yourself look like a big goddamn crybaby fucking weakling. Good Lord. How many more fucking people are gonna fucking find YouTube that are like this? I mean, over a decade, you know? And exactly the same fucking behaviors as one another. I mean, is there like some kind of fucking personality disorder assembly line that these people are just shooting out of lately? Another thing that's said is that the content produced by people like myself would be considered a projection of one's own self-hatred by a professional psychiatrist. You're not a professional, so you don't get to speak for actually qualified professionals. And I hate to toot my own horn, but I got a master's degree in behavioral sciences from UNLV, so I think I know a little bit more about those subjects than you do if we're going to rip out our brains' dicks and slap them around each other for a while, because that's not fucking stupid enough as it is. You took Jordan Peterson to task under the assumption that he was some kind of Politico commentator, and not even understanding that the man is a fucking educated psychologist and behavioral scientist himself with more degrees in these academic fields than I had credit hours going to school. You're going to actually go and make a video about somebody like that, provide only 3 instances in the video where you bring him up whatsoever and then say a professional psychologist would look at a video like this as a projection of one's self-hatred and totally ignore all of the insane dogmatic projections about your aversion to your own past that you make in your own videos? Well, if we want to psychoanalyze in our armchairs here, fuck, I'll throw in my 2 cents. You sound like some fucking simpering bitch who got fucked over when he was a kid by his religious fucking family, and instead of going to a therapist about it, you let it all drive inward on you and goddamn drive you crazy. Later on in life, you got it in your own fucking makeup-caked head to try to create the antithesis of the thing that hurt you, so you can attack it on a more personal basis, assuming people who do that kind of shit, especially to kids, actually would give a shit. Not even understanding that where you're at in life right now is only going to serve to validate all the fucked up shit they thought of you, said about you, and did to you. You're just a fucking nihilistic teenager at that point in the body of a full-grown adult fighting back against a world because he's too stupid and incapable of handling it to understand that that's not even remotely how you handle these problems. You're just an immature little brat who doesn't want to grow the fuck up. Yet he casts stones on other people saying they should grow the fuck up. You have such an obsession with disproving Christianity. You have such an obsession with disproving people in academic fields far in advance in their education of you. And it's just exemplified by you not providing any of your fucking credentials. Where did you go to school? What degrees do you fucking have? Prove that anything you fucking say in this shit is actually true. You don't because you can't. And you're going to say that my responses to you are projections? I think you're projecting more than a fucking movie theater screen. Damn. But we can go even further. On his actual Facebook page, which is mostly loaded with kids in high school, he posts a post about his sexual kinks, because that's what the fuck you do in front of an audience of people that are like from the ages of 15 and up. Jesus. And most of them are degradation fetishes. If you knew anything about degradation fetishes, you'd know that they're mostly from people who like to be degraded because they hate themselves. They want to feel like shit because they get off on feeling like shit. Get off on people like slapping them around and pissing on them and shit. And he's apparently into that. Now, don't even yell the word kink shame here, because that's not the intention. If you're going to try to pigeonhole somebody's psychology, bitch, then you should understand the same can be said about you. Oh, these people don't even know me. Well, then don't put all these weird, fucked up personal details about yourself on the internet thinking that you don't get people too much of an insight as to who or what you really are. I mean, it's bad enough that you wanted to create a congregation of fucking teenage goth kids for yourself to try to run a revolution against the U.S. government, or at least most of the governments in the modern world with, but then you come out with that fucking shit and say, oh, by the way, if you get with me, I'll pee on you. Like, the fuck? What are you trying to be, like Ian Watkins from Lost Prophets or some shit? Good God, man. All in all, this video boils down to being nothing more than a bunch of tripe excuse-giving and justifications for immoral, unethical, and fucked up behavior online in front of an audience of people in questionable age groups. Nothing more than a misrepresentation of people like myself through a misinterpretation of certain arguments we've made, or outright ignorance and complete denial of others. And just another turd to throw on the pile of narcissistic ass boogerage from people that all are exactly the same. Yes, there are 100 billion of them out there that exist in 100 billion different forms, but at the end of the day, they're all exactly the fucking same. As for Hyperionism as a philosophy, prove anything you say without getting to the point where you say the proof doesn't exist in observable objective metrics. At that point, you're making an appeal to authority to acknowledge that you don't have any proof without having to say you don't have any proof. I'm not going to take someone seriously that calls out religion and yet is so dogmatically unskeptical of their own statements that they preach them like a religion. And I can't take seriously any attacks by somebody like that about me taking them out of context or misinterpreting them or saying that I'm obsessed. That's just a fucking cop-out. That's to try to get people to automatically disregard any oppositional viewpoints, a typical tactic used by cult leaders all over the place. And I'm fucking, well, sick of it, really. Bored with it, sick of it, fucking tired of it. May lay this one to rest. Because if this was really a way to do a roast to your haters, you fucking failed in every possible fucking regard. All you have done is prove people right when they say you cannot handle criticism. You're a small man with a small man complex and probably a small dick to boot. Oh, they get wet just thinking about me. Keep telling yourself that. You may have bagged yourself a hot wife, but there are far better things in life to accomplish than managing to manipulate somebody with a big, thick, juicy ass to sit on your face and piss in your mouth. Because apparently that's what gets you off. Anyway, I'm fucking sick of this shit and I'm through with it, and hopefully this didn't fuck up your day and bore the shit out of you. If it didn't and you enjoyed the content you've seen here, like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this further on down the line, and hit that little notification bell or you'll never know I made a video. I'm Stevie, and I'll see you on the flip side. I guess that's my new outro now. Take it the fuck easy.